Hello my beautiful angels, it's Isabel, and in today's video we're going to talk about healing and letting go of the past. I feel like 2019 was one of those years where I had to let go of things, or I had to go through things again, lessons that I thought I had learned from in the past, and heal again. So 2019 was definitely a healing year for me, which is good. I think that we all have things we need to heal from. We all have things from the past that sometimes we bury and we don't want to bring back up again because we feel like they're just like icky, or we don't want to deal with them. And it's important that we do deal with these things. And when we heal from things and we heal from those old wounds that may be tough to get through, we allow ourselves to move forward from the past into something new and into healthier situations or relationships or whatever it may be. So we have to understand that these bad things that happened to us in the past, or these difficult situations, happen to us for a reason, even though the reason might not be readily apparent, and whether that thing that happened to us or that situation was quote unquote negative or positive. So our ego, which I have a whole video on the ego called You Are Not Your Fears, likes to label everything, every experience, everything that happens to us either negative or positive. Because the ego is like a teacher. It's trying to teach us, and it's also trying to protect us from clear and present dangers or just anything in the past. That's why a lot of us have anxiety or these irrational fears or overthinking, because it's our ego telling us to watch out, don't go into that. But a lot of times these fears or these thoughts are irrational, and they're not really indicative of the fact that whatever we're doing is actually a threat or a danger. Our lizard brains, as I like to call it, likes to keep itself busy. However, as conscious beings, as spiritual beings, we don't have to fall into what the ego is telling us. The ego is a tool for our use. And we mustn't judge these experiences or let these negative experiences or just ruin our entire experience overall. In fact, I want you guys to start seeing these negative experiences or these painful moments in our life as something working in your favor. So whether you were rejected from a job, you went through a breakup, you've had health difficulties in the past, you lost a loved one, or you had life, just your entire life around you, crumble as you know it. Know that these moments after a heartbreak or a difficult moment in your life are entirely up to you. They will be up to you and your choice of how you're going to take your life from here, how you're going to collect yourself after a difficult situation. And these are all in your power. And let me make this clear, guys. Healing is not about ignoring what happened in the past. Healing is not about pretending it didn't happen or pretending it didn't hurt. And it's also not about trying to change the past, because we all know we can't change it, and trying to change the past is just a waste of time. So it's not about changing or beating yourself up about the past or what you could have done or what if, or I should have done this, I shouldn't. No, we're not dealing with that anymore. And it's also not about repressing your feelings or forcing yourself to move on from what happened, or forcing yourself to heal immediately to appear strong to others. Healing is about being real with yourself, where you are, what you're feeling, accepting a lot of the things that happened, so that you can make peace with the past and you can freely move on from it. So step number one in healing is to acknowledge what happened. So don't sugarcoat your feelings, guys. Own your feelings. Own the fact that you're sad, you may be angry, you're upset, you feel hopeless, you feel like there's no life left for you. Whatever you're feeling, own those feelings. And it does not mean that they have to consume you, but that you at least acknowledge that they're there. Actually grieve and get through these feelings, because if we don't express these feelings in a healthy way, then they're just gonna stay inside and they're just gonna fester and fester and fester. If we have a really bad wound and we have an infection growing, if we don't amputate the limb that's growing the infection, it's going to spread and it's going to spread. It's not just going to magically go away. And you have to see yourself in the same way in your healing process. Sometimes if you get shot, you have to go and dig the bullet out, or else you could die. So that's how you have to see your feelings. They have to come out. They have to be expressed. And the whole fact of the matter is, if we don't allow our feelings to be expressed in a healthy way, these negative emotions, negative feelings will manifest in other areas of our life and affect our relationships, affect our job, affect our daily lives, and we can't ignore it anymore. So great ways to admit and actually acknowledge your feelings is by talking to a therapist, talking to a professional, talking to a friend or a family member, somebody that you trust, somebody that you know is not going to judge you or be negative towards you, or just going to be like, oh, get over it. Well, it's been 6 months. You should have gotten over it already. I understand that people don't want you to be in a pity party all the time. I'm one of those people. I don't like pity parties, but at the same time, you can't just force yourself to move on from these things, guys. So seeking professional help is great. Also, channeling your feelings and emotions in a creative way. So in a passion, through music, through artwork, writing, journaling, an outlet that you truly enjoy. Even just listening to music can be a good way to express and channel those feelings so that you're not holding them up inside. So this is the first step in letting go and healing, is allowing yourself to grieve and express what's inside. Next step in healing is forgiveness. Now, if you don't get through number one in step one and you are holding on to all these feelings, it's gonna be really hard to forgive, especially if somebody did you wrong, if somebody hurt you in a really hard way. Forgiveness is going to be really tough. So it's important that you get through step one before you even try to forgive. Because right now you're like, how can I forgive someone who did something really terrible to me? Or I didn't get justice out of this situation. Well, that's because you still have to work through your own feelings and why you're feeling them. So forgiveness is probably going to be the hardest part of this. And not only is it about forgiving those people that hurt you and did you wrong, but it's also about forgiving yourself and showing compassion towards yourself for perhaps the mistakes you've made in the past, or just the decisions you've made that you knew weren't right and you still went through with them. It's okay. It's okay to have made mistakes. We're human. We do things all the time that we're not happy about. But it's about learning from those things that we did wrong. Or perhaps they weren't mistakes. You just made a decision. You thought it was the right one. Turned out not so great. It's okay. Hindsight is 20/20. So just learn from it. Ask yourself what you can do differently next time. What did you learn from what you did? And then allow yourself to move forward with grace. Now, forgiving another person is really hard. As the old saying goes, to err is human, to forgive divine. To forgive someone that did you wrong is to acknowledge that they did do something wrong, but also it is to let go of the pain from within. This is the thing, guys. If we don't forgive a person who did us wrong, yeah, you can say, I'll never forgive you, I'll never do this. But if we don't forgive them, we are holding on to that pain that we're trying to put on them. A lot of times the people we don't want to forgive, they're out living their best lives or doing whatever. They're not even thinking about you, frankly. And then there are people who are begging you for forgiveness. And the thing about forgiving is that it doesn't cancel out what that person did or how they hurt you or disregard what they did, but it allows you to release that anger, because resentment is almost like a poison that you drink yourself. And same as anger, it's a poison that you drink yourself, expecting that other person to die. So forgiving a person, you do it more for yourself. The forgiver is the one who earns the most from forgiveness, not the person they're forgiving, but them. You are doing the most for yourself. And by forgiving people or situations, or even yourself for doing things in the past, you are helping yourself release and let go of what was not serving you, of letting go of these negative vibrations, of these feelings that are keeping you back living in the past. You know those people who are like really bitter or angry about the past, or stuff that happened years and years ago and they're just still really bitter? It's because they haven't learned to forgive themselves or other people. And those people that are really bitter and angry inside, they're not people that you want to be around. They're not people that you enjoy their company or who are out doing great things. Bitter people tend to become shells of their former selves. They do themselves a huge disservice. They don't allow themselves to be happy. They don't allow themselves to move forward into the future. So that's why it's important that you release and forgive yourself and others, so that you are free to move forward into a brighter and better future. And if you're beating yourself up, guys, this is one thing. Stop the negative self-talk. Stop telling yourself, I'm so stupid, I should have done better, I should have known better. We've all been in those situations where we really were not happy with ourselves, or we were super hypercritical and being super rude and mean to ourselves. And that's one thing, is that that's a heavy burden to carry upon yourself. Even if you disappointed people, you did wrong, ask for forgiveness. I think that's something important. You always ask for forgiveness. Say I'm sorry to the people that you might have done wrong to or you disappointed, but also say sorry to yourself. Apologize to yourself and always have compassion towards yourself, because the world can be pretty uncompassionate and cold sometimes, but you don't have to adapt to the world. You don't have to be like the outside world. Be compassionate, be forgiving. Put your hand on your heart and tell yourself, I forgive myself for everything I did that I was not happy with, that wasn't right, but I'm learning, I'm getting better. It's okay, I'm doing my best, and I'm going to do my best moving forward, regardless of what happened in the past. To heal old wounds is to just tell ourselves it was okay to have made those mistakes. It's okay, the past is not here anymore. You can't change the past. You can make peace with the past. But what you have to do is face it. Accept it for what happened, for whatever it was, and then move forward. The only thing that keeps the past alive and past mistakes alive is you putting your focus and your attention and your energy into it. Don't do that to yourself anymore. You don't need to. Speak it out loud and say, I make peace with my past and I make peace with myself and I show myself unconditional love. Step number 3 is to seek help. I touched upon this a bit in the first step, which is seeking therapy, talking to somebody that is perhaps a professional or somebody that you admire, perhaps somebody that, you know, is a leader in a church group or your spiritual group in a spiritual community, somebody who can mentor you and get you through this, or perhaps somebody who has been through what you've been through. Always go and seek help. Speaking to people. It could be friends or family. A lot of times friends or family are the most difficult people to go to, but if you don't have that opportunity, therapy is so important. Going to a counselor perhaps in your school or university, and just talking, guys. Talking is so important. And you don't always have to appear strong. You don't have to appear, if something hurt you, it doesn't matter how it hurts other people. We all deal with traumas and difficulties in life differently. So the way that you seek help can be different than how your friends or your family or people around you might seek help. So no shame in that at all. Also, holistic healing, going to a Reiki healer or somebody that can help you connect and align with yourself, with your spiritual being. Holistic healing can be anything from taking up a new lifestyle change, like your diet, changing the way you live your life, your lifestyle, taking up a yoga practice, learning to heal the inner child. A lot of holistic healing deals with the inner child. A lot of psychiatrists and psychologists. One Instagram account I would highly recommend to those of you who are kind of going through reparenting and healing the inner child, which I can make a whole video on this as well, but the holistic psychologist on Instagram, she posts incredible things. She also posts here on YouTube. I highly recommend her channel for those of you who are going through healing. She helped me a lot as well. A therapist that I really love, Terry Cole. She makes great videos on boundaries, on codependence, on all these incredible things, and she's really helped me as well along my journey. So Terry Cole, she's on Instagram, she's on YouTube, and these two women are incredible and they really help. Just following their content really helps a lot. Also, meditation, guys. Meditation. It's no coincidence that meditation is literally one letter away from medication. This is what you need to heal. This is the help that you can give yourself right now. Just spending at least 15 minutes in silence, closing your eyes and just focusing on your breathing. Breath work is incredible as well. And just doing meditation, taking it up daily, helps you a lot with thoughts, with pains, with all these different things that we may deal with mentally and spiritually. And it helps connect with your true self, kind of take away all the stressors and all these things and help you clear your mind and also make sense of a lot of things. Also, meditation has helped me because it made me realize that a lot of the things I was worrying about weren't even as big of a deal as I was trying to make them out to be. I recommend apps like Headspace, Insight Timer, and also listening to guided meditations on YouTube, Jason Stevenson's channel. I talk about his channel all the time. He helped me through one of my most difficult moments in my life, and I would recommend his channel to anyone. And as I was talking about before, going vegan, eating more fresh fruits and vegetables, taking away processed foods, and cutting out sugar and alcohol helped me a lot whenever I was going through a tough time. Now, you know, I've healed from a lot of things, and you know, I do drink wine every now and then, but whenever I was going through a really tough time and I was focusing on myself and getting to the right mindset, I did cut out a lot of toxins to the body like alcohol and sugar and processed foods, and it did help me a lot because not only was I healing myself spiritually and mentally, but I began to heal myself physically and my body. I never get sick because I do take care of my diet. I live a plant-based vegan lifestyle. That helped me a lot, and also helped me be more compassionate and loving towards myself because I actually paid attention to what I was putting in my body instead of just eating whatever, eating just to sustain myself, but actually to live and to thrive. It makes a huge difference. Now, step number 4 is patience. This is the thing, guys. A lot of times friends and family and people around us tell us, well, you should be over that already. It happened a year ago. It happened 6 months ago. If we allow people to rush us through our healing, we'll never completely heal. If we're just slapping a band-aid on a huge gaping head wound, it's gonna be a disaster. Healing yourselves spiritually and mentally takes the same amount of effort, takes the same amount or even more effort and care as would be a physical wound. Think about when you have a head wound, you have to get it cleaned out. You have to stop the bleeding. You have to take time and use staples, and for a few weeks or a few months you have to be super hyper careful. And this is something that we don't realize about ourselves, that everyone has a different timeline for healing. What might take me to get over a breakup or a tough time in my life might take you more or less. That's why we can't judge ourselves by other people's timelines. We have to make sure that we are honoring and being true to ourselves. And the thing is, a lot of times friends and family, they don't like to see us suffering. They don't like to see us in pain. So then they're like, get over it, you know, like stop it. You're being self-pitying, whatever. Don't get mad at your friends and family if they seem callous or they seem rude or whatever and telling you to get over it. A lot of times people don't know how to deal with people that are going through difficult situations. It's uncomfortable to deal with negative emotions for a lot of people. A lot of people aren't empaths. You know, I'm an empath. And if you cry, I'll cry with you. If you're sad, I'll be sad with you. If you're angry, I'll be angry. That's the type of person I am. But not everyone is like that. But be patient with yourself, even if the world around you is telling you to get over it. As long as you're doing the work and taking the steps and getting the help that you need, it does not matter how long it takes you to get through this, as long as you're doing your best. The grieving process is probably what takes the most for healing. But then one day, guys, it's like you wake up, you're a new person. All the things that were hurting you no longer hurt, and you've actually grown from it. You have experience and knowledge. That's why we go through these tough things. Healing is not linear. It will go up and down, up and down, up and down, go in all different directions. Think of yourself as an onion. You know, you have to peel away those layers and layers and layers to get to the pretty, beautiful center. That's just life. And it's just seeking to make you a better person. So it's okay. You will get through this. Whatever it is that you're healing from, whatever it is that you're going through, it's not in vain. You will get through this. You will become a powerful individual. You will get through these difficult stages in your life. You just have to allow yourself to heal. And everything is rigged in your favor. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please hit thumbs up and also subscribe to see more videos from me. Let's lift each other up in the comments. Let's share our own healing journeys and our own experience, whatever it is that you've been healing from. Do you have a podcast called Taking Back Your Power? The link is always in the description of these videos. You can listen to them for free wherever podcasts are available. And always remember this, my loves, no matter what you may be going through, no matter what you're healing from, what you look like, or what your current situation is, always remember this. Your true beauty, your true worth, and your true power always come from within. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!